Wake up! Wake up, wake up, wake up!
Hello everyone, I am Joe from Create Context and welcome to the Criterion 40. Each week we look at a different film in Criterion's 40th anniversary Blu-ray collection. Today we're looking at Spike Lee's 1989 film, Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing is maybe the most American film on this Criterion 40 list. We've looked at 3 different American movies in the past 3 weeks, but none of them have aged as well or feel as currently poignant as Do the Right Thing. Spike Lee's Do the Right Thing, released in 1989 and follows one summer day on one single block in a Brooklyn neighborhood. Immediately when this film released, people knew it was something special, something important, and in the subsequent years, the film has only become more important in the lexicon of American filmography. Do the Right Thing is probably Spike Lee's best regarded work, though the director has several other lauded films under his belt. In addition to writing and directing Do the Right Thing, Spike also stars in this movie as Mookie. There is no real central character in the film, but Mookie is the driving factor of sorts. He is one who keeps the film grounded, and we see many of the day's interactions through his eyes. The real main character of Do the Right Thing is the block itself, a predominantly black neighborhood block in Brooklyn, New York that contains all the quintessential accoutrements that you would expect to find in this urban setting. There's Sal's Pizzeria, a local Italian-owned pizza joint. There's a Korean-owned convenience store that sells everything from beer to flowers. There's a group of old heads who sit outside on the curb and talk about the good old days while lamenting their current state of affairs. And there's even the town drunk, an old man who goes by the mayor. The film is set in a sweltering hot summer day. The heat acts as a literal metaphor for the boiling tensions of race relations in the community and America as a whole. The way Spike lights and sets each scene adds power to this theme. An early scene shows Mookie waking up, covered in sweat in his bed, with red shades drawn in his bedroom. The light pours through these red shades, making the entire room feel hot and uninviting. You can just imagine waking up in that sweltering heat, sticking to the sweat-drenched sheets. Extreme heat isn't just a visual metaphor, though. Violent outbursts are more common in the heat. Tempers get shorter, people flee their house looking for places to cool off, be it an ice cream shop or an open fire hydrant. Spike Lee uses this truth to tell his story while begging with viewers to do the right thing, even in these uncomfortable circumstances. The right thing, though, is never fully explained or even realized in this film. We actually see most people in this film not doing the right thing, doing only what best serves them and their intentions, or being reactionary to any mistreatments placed upon them. But what we really see are people who are tired, frustrated, and hot. And in their discomfort, they resort to their worst primal instincts, those of racism and hate. This whole movie feels like a boiling pot, and the film climaxes in an explosion. A young black man named Radio Raheem is murdered by police after an altercation with Sal, the owner of the local pizza joint. It's a chilling image. It's hard to watch, and one that feels even more chilling now in 2025 after decades of seeing that same type of police brutality over and over on TV and on the internet. After Radio is killed, a mob forms outside the pizzeria. They are distraught, rightfully so, over the death of Radio Raheem, and they have no place for their anger to go. That is until Mookie picks up a trash can and throws it through the window of Sal's Pizzeria. This starts a riot that ultimately ends up with Sal's Pizza Shop being burnt to the ground, utterly destroyed. This ending scene, the power it holds, and the questions it asks are the core of this film's real importance. Sure, this film is shot brilliantly. There's fantastic music throughout, and the performances are all excellent. But it's this idea, this central point of doing the right thing that the film is trying to make. That is where this movie sticks and becomes so outrageously uncomfortable. Spike Lee doesn't really try to answer this question. Instead, after all the death and destruction, he leaves us with two quotes, one from Martin Luther King Jr. and one from Malcolm X. Two men who fought for the same thing, but with opposing views on how to achieve that goal. King, he championed for peace, for peaceful protests, to not resorting to violence, stating that violence as a way of achieving racial justice is both impractical and immoral. While Malcolm X argued that violence in self-defense isn't violence, it's intelligence. So what is Spike Lee trying to say with this film and with these two quotes, with these two opposing viewpoints? Did Mookie do the right thing by inciting a riot? Was it just self-defense? Did Sal do the right thing by antagonizing Radio Raheem? The answer, well, Spike doesn't give us an answer. He just presents these ideas, these different values, and forces us to sit with them. My personal read is that do the right thing isn't an admonishment to the characters in the film, but rather a moral choice the director is aiming to the audience. Should the mob have dispersed and tried to rectify this injustice peacefully? Well, that would have been MLK's approach, but that's an approach that ended in his death and continues on to this day with decades of abuse and brutality and murder. Or was the right thing to fight fire with fire? Was this truly self-defense, wrecking the store, and the location of the injustice? Even if Sal wasn't personally responsible for the incident, he certainly was cursory to all of this happening. These people are filled with rage and hurt, and they need an outlet for their rage to go. If that place is a local pizza shop, then so be it. That's what Malcolm X would have argued. What I love about this film and about this ending is that even though Spike doesn't give us an answer, he doesn't let us avoid the consequences of these actions. The last scene of the film is Mookie speaking with Sal the day after his shop has been burned to the ground. We never get an answer to what is the right thing, but we also don't get to walk away without seeing the people who were hurt in the process. Sal is kind of a creep in the movie. He's not the nicest guy, he's a little bit racist, and he acts kind of pervy towards Mookie's sister, but he didn't murder Radio Raheem. That was the police. But the police are not the ones who suffer from these actions. They rarely are. Instead, Sal is the one who ends up with his business being burned to the ground. Sure, he has insurance money. He'll be fine, financially speaking, but the loss is more than just money. He lost a place he loved, a place he built. But that really pales in comparison to the loss of this community, the loss of a young black man at the hands of police, something that happens over and over. But is an eye for an eye really the right way to rectify this circumstances? Do the right thing forces us to look at the ramifications of violence, but it also never minces the true tragedy, the murder of an innocent black man. Do the Right Thing was released in 1989, and here in 2025, we still don't have an answer to the questions this film asks. Not only that, but we still see the same things happening over and over again in this country. There is a perpetual circle of violence that we as a country just can't seem to pull ourselves out of, no matter how hard we try to do the right thing.
And that's the truth. Root.
The Criterion 40 is a Create Context podcast. Head over to createcontext.com for more film, reviews, and analysis. Our theme song is Hindsight by Shiloh, provided by the Riot Games Creator Save playlist. We drop new episodes every Tuesday at 8 a.m.